So I'm welcoming everyone today to Talks on Tuesday. And that is obviously every Tuesday, Talks on Tuesday, where we talk about spiritual, metaphysical, supernatural topics and any other very interesting topics that happen to come up or that you may suggest. And we'd love it if you commented and subscribe to our channel on YouTube. And today I chose a topic that has, I don't know if confused is the right word, but where I've had some lack of clarity onto what is the truth or not. And that is about our soul. And the topic is, what is soul's journey to you? What does that mean to you? And I am confused because during reconnective healing, Jillian talks about how the soul is, it's not spirit, but it's part of our finite uh, existence. Yet when I hear other people talk about it, it's, I think maybe it's part spirit. It's an expansion. So when I heard an interesting comment about spirit, uh, about soul. Sorry, soul is soul is not inside of us. Our soul is not in our finite. We are inside of soul. Okay, and that's a very interesting way of looking at it. We are inside of soul. It is not inside of us. And where does it go? Or, all right, let's go back to what its journey is. Sorry. I think its journey is to learn, and bring expansion to our finite self. And I would love it if somebody else would take over and share. Because I get all these thoughts and then I just can't pull them out. So, but that's kind of what I wanted to say. I kind of wanted to talk about also not only the journey, but what happens to the soul when it leaves our body, and what maybe your perspective is, or what any questions you may have yourself. Anybody interested in sharing? Or do you need to think about it for a while? B?
I'll jump in because nobody else is, so which is surprising because this is a good topic. I thought there'd be lots
Yeah,
of
it
questions,
is. But
but
I
okay.
see Durin thinking, the
Yeah,
thinker. She's
yeah.
like this.
Oh yeah, I mean there is so many layers to this, Julie. It's actually I think that all of us could say something a little different and it would still not even begin to cover the all the dimensions. Um
Uh-huh.
but to me, I think it's almost like the soul is almost like the intersection between finite and infinite. I
Right.
mean, and eh, what happens to it afterwards? Yeah, I mean that could be anybody's guess. Oh well, Anka's got her hand up, so let's see what
Anka.
she's guessing.
I don't know what means finite.
What is it?
This is our reality
Uh,
life.
it's the opposite of
Infinite,
mortal.
opposite of infinite. You know what infinite is?
Yeah,
Huh? Okay.
Yes,
yeah.
Okay.
So I think at least when I refer to finite, I mean this person, Barbara. That's my finite. And then but there's much more to me. It's just that it's all kind of like behind the scenes,
Well,
so to
the
speak.
Right.
body,
That's
body is
infinite.
definitely finite. So the
Right.
body's going to die. That's going to happen. The soul, um, that's the hard part. I know pretty much that the soul is that essence that animates the body I'm in.
Mhm.
That's what gives this body the ability to live, breathe. Yeah, of course, there are mechanistic things like the heart and the lungs. You never know, but in terms of metaphysics, without the soul, there's no reason to have a body. The soul uses the body as a vehicle for experience,
Yes.
and nothing happens to the soul when the body dies. The soul just is, and it experiences something else after that, whether it's another body or another dimension. But I think that we've got two questions here. What is the soul, and what is the journey that the soul is on, if indeed that's a good metaphor? Is when I was thinking about this before, when you had mentioned journey, when we were talking yesterday, I stopped to think, is like, is the journey the actions we take of free will that lead us through these finite lives? And is that the same as a person who chooses to just have their life happen to them? There, you see so many people, well, I can't do this because this, and I can't do that because that. And if I do this, then that. So I'm just going to be still. I'm going to let it happen.
Play it by ear.
Yeah. Is that a journey, or is that just what happens? And is a journey necessarily an active decision you make in order to learn and grow? I'm just throwing that out there. I don't know the answer.
I think that's part of their journey, just kind of going along with the bumps. I mean, that's
Yeah.
still a journey. It's just not a guided journey or an intentional journey, I would think, I guess.
Are we riding the bus or driving the bus?
Right.
Maybe we're doing a little bit of both. I think that the soul has a lot to do with our experiences. And maybe the soul is a silent partner, kind of, in a way. And then we have free will to decide which way we want to go. Does that make sense?
Doreen, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, what is coming to mind for me is sort of an example. It's not easy to discuss this in the abstract, trying to use words and concepts and stuff. So somebody posed the question, well, what happens to the soul?
Mm-hmm.
So I know a lot of people have this experience. I thought it would be cool to have this experience, but I was open to it never happening to me. But this is what happened. So I met a dog that I had after he passed away a number of years ago. And I met him again just recently. And I was not expecting it, but there were just way too many quote unquote coincidences. And so I got to be with him the last few years of his life. When I met him, he did have cancer again. And I was with him when he passed, and we put him down again. He wasn't my dog. He was somebody else's dog. But for me, it was an interesting contemplation, and is what happens with the soul, and what does it look like when we leave and come back? And there were just everything. Gosh, this is so hard to articulate. Something happens with our soul in the field, I think, and our soul kind of does have the ability to stick with things that are familiar, because I saw that a lot in my dog. When I met him again, he had the same name. It wasn't even a very common name, but he had the same name, and I knew he loved his name. And when I first met this dog, I thought, oh boy, is this really it? And then my instinct kicked in. I didn't even think. My mind just started to piece things together. It was like, yep, this is him. And so still, it's hard for me to take the time and really sit with that. It's very moving, but I think the same thing would happen with us as well. We might hold on to some familiar things, but our soul would change in the field after leaving a body. And I've heard it described that way too. It's like you might meet somebody who passed away again, but they're not going to be the same. But it'll still be that soul that kind of made some interesting choices. You know, like my dog, he and I knew when he was born, with his next lifetime, he was going to be a short-haired dog. And sure enough, and I knew it was, and black. It was decided he was going to have black hair and it was going to be short hair. And for me, I thought that would be a black lab. But it was a black Great Dane. So he was still therapeutic, still a very gentle therapeutic soul, quite literally. And very interesting. So I don't know what comes up for anybody.
What was his name, Duran? I'm just curious.
Ryder with a Y.
Oh,
Isn't that a great name?
wonderful name.
Yeah, he loved his name.
I just wanted to say that I see that Renee put in a little something. She says the spirit soul is the person. The spirit / soul is the person.
Mhm.
Right. That lives in a body for a time. maybe.
Yeah, but I do believe, Durin, also from what I've heard, is that the soul keeps those experiences, holds on to a lot of what you went through. And oh, hi Renee. And yeah, I just wanted to say that. And
So I have a question for everybody because this is a great topic and discussion. So do you think that after we die, our soul or who we are, what we're calling the soul, could split off or morph and join maybe other souls that are kind of out there? And what would that look like?
I don't see why it wouldn't.
yeah, I still think that, oh, sorry, that the soul has something to do with the spirit as well. I mean, one is soul, one is spirit. Did they go into spirit? This is
Or
where I get a little
are they the same
confused.
thing? And
Or
does it even matter?
No, I did think about that, but still, good topic.
It is. It's like there's so much of this, but I think in order not to go crazy, we have to just accept that the language will be muddy.
Yeah.
We don't have words for a lot of this. And what you were asking earlier about the soul splitting, morphing, you read accounts of people who in their regressions reveal that they are not just themselves, they're living another life somewhere else in the world. And it's like when you pick up the paper and you read earthquake in Lima and you go, oh, that's too bad. Earthquake in Mozambique, and you feel it here and you think, oh, maybe I am also there as well.
Well, I've heard about it. It's there's different word. What is the word? It's happening in another dimension. I mean, it's like where it's not when you go to your past lives, it's not really past lives. It's like it's happening at the same time,
Like a parallel.
which is
like
there you go, parallel. Yeah.
Parallel experiences.
Experience. Yeah. Interesting.
Because there's a lot to learn here.
Yeah.
And
I guess too, I was just going to say, when the soul leaves the body, you get to, at some point, decide whether what you want to do. Do you want to stay and learn on the other side, or do you want to come back into a finite body and take on another life, or, choose? Because,
well,
apparently we
guides,
choose.
I think we've got guides on the other side.
Yeah.
With these decisions, and talk through them with us. Like, here's what you learned. What do you think you need next?
You go through a life review.
Yeah, and you haven't experienced enormous power yet. You
Mhm.
can handle that. Let's become a teacher. Like a high school teacher, I had enormous power. I had less power at the university. So
Could you handle that?
actually that was better. I gave my classroom away and things were never better.
Mhm. Okay, I'm gonna read what Renee wrote.
Okay, yeah.
The spirit
Here,
slash soul is the person. Then she says, it's what moves us. And my heart is the soul, and in the soul is the spirit. Oh, that's an interesting concept. Spectrum. And Anka said spectrum. Yeah, totally a spectrum. Anka, there's definitely a spectrum.
Yeah.
Essence, presence, soul is both and guided by inspiration. Yeah, I kind of just go to the place where I have no idea. I mean, it's bigger than what this little finite mind can even begin to process. So I'm just going to accept that it's something that's very wondrous and more than I can imagine. But yeah, these are all good comments. Thanks, Renee and Anka.
Yeah,
You want to come in? Oh,
yeah.
just?
Yeah, in fact, this discussion makes me think that maybe I need to take a more active role in my soul's journey
Mhm.
by examining the experiences that I cross through every day and saying, what did I learn from that? What might I learn from that? Am I ignoring a lesson here by ignoring this incident? It's like when you say that happened, but I'm just not going to think about it. Is that a good thing? Is it part of my journey to stop and say, yes, today they were incompetent at the pharmacy, but how many times have I been incompetent and people were too polite to tell me? Do we not all share the same um, disabilities of soul and spirit that we need to be kind about?
Yeah.
Well, I definitely see it as um learning to look at my experiences. I can give an example. The experience that I had with my dog and the couple of people in the neighborhood that I have a lot of anger about. And I've been working on that.
Mhm.
I don't know if you want to call it forgiveness or that I go when I listen to a lot of videos and stuff, and they talk about things like that, like I guess you call it letting go or resolving it, just let it release. And because it's not good for me. And but it's hard. I'm having a really hard time with that, trying to let go of that anger towards these people, you know. But I hear that a lot in when I've been listening to certain videos and stuff and talking about it and in that sense, or I take it that way. And I see that as this is a lesson for me, but
Yeah.
it's work for me because I can't just say, okay, yeah, because it's like it's there, and I haven't gotten to that point, but I do feel like a little bit of release, in those feelings, so that I'll get there
Yeah, good.
and put it yeah.
I know, Drew, and I saw your hand up a couple times.
Oh,
Oh,
yeah,
Renee
because
too.
um just to build off Julie what you're saying about being angry and how it kind of ties into the field and the soul journey. I'll see if I can keep this succinct. So, yeah, my whole life I've been wanting to move here, like y'all know. And specifically, I knew I was moving here for the wildlife in the wilderness because I love it. And I just recently had my birthday, as Julie knows. Um, shortly before my birthday, I saw my first bald eagle soaring in the valley.
Ooh.
And yeah, that was special. We had that's a whole nother discussion. And as part of my soul's journey, what follows me with back to regard with the wildlife in the wilderness is the abuse that happens with wildlife and in the wilderness. And so this week, I saw another bald eagle in a different place. And the next day, I was reading my emails and I got an email from a nonprofit organization that had a few of them got together and sued the federal government with regard to its quote unquote wildlife services program, which is nothing but wildlife holocaust. They just get paid to kill animals, so they kill animals. There's no study, no reason to be doing this. And it's been going on for years. And I didn't necessarily have it in my consciousness. I didn't know that court case was going on, but yet this came in right around the time when I was seeing the bald eagles. It was my birthday. It was a big one. And then today, I had a woman out who's doing some cold laser therapy on my horse. And she was talking about, she just, at the same time this court decision happened and I got the email, and somewhere in the field that same weekend, she was at a animal communication workshop at a wolf sanctuary here. And it just, everything just came together. And the wolf communication thing was incredible. She said the wolves were just howling in joy that they were there. And they also, I think, were picking up on this court decision because it is specifically with regard to Montana. It is specifically here regarding the Montana wolves. And that was a huge court victory that had been years and years and years in the making. So all that is to say, that's the soul's journey. And we're all together in this, and so as long as you're vibing out and doing your thing, Julie, dealing with your anger towards the people that you're sort of angry with.
Yeah.
It's very fascinating.
Yeah.
And it's hard it's really hard to intellectualize it and articulate it. So that was my best shot.
Yeah. And as
Thank you very much. Yeah.
I'm sorry, as you're speaking, Doreen, it comes to me that journey is such a limiting word because it is so linear. We don't have just one journey. We're traveling multiple roads, standing in multiple prospects. What you see depends on where you're standing. And depends on where you've been. And to put that on a road is limiting.
Yeah.
Renee?
Thank you for that.
Renee, did you have something you wanted to share?
Yeah, I do. You can hear me today, can you?
Yeah, uh-huh.
Hallelujah.
You got some feedback.
So sorry. I'll do the best I can.
Okay.
Yeah, so I just have to say this because I'm experiencing this incredible discombobulation, not only today with this meeting. I'm seeing that I experience these moments of being so connected, being so in tune, being so aware of people around me and what's happening and unfolding in real time, in the moment, arriving at exactly the right moment in time for something to happen that I couldn't have planned happening. And these kinds of things are signs of me being guided by, whatever guides me. And I find it quite intriguing and I find it frustrating because when I'm not able to sort of connect with the other souls around me, or they're in a different mindset, or they're having a different experience, I find that incredibly frustrating and limiting because, I keep hearing, yes, we are all in this together, but there still is this overriding energy of my will, greed, self-centeredness, not considering the needs or the feelings of other people. cutting people out, cutting people off. And however this is all coming out of me, maybe not with clarity, but it drives me bonkers. Okay, it really drives me bonkers. And I'm just having a hard time with that, because when I have these experiences that I know are so life-giving and so uplifting to the people around me, I can't understand when the opposite keeps happening and why it's so difficult to sort of shift it. Maybe that's part of my journey, to know that I can only control what I can contribute. I can only share what I see. I can only be who I am. And there will be people around that don't like that I'm sort of stepping on their toes, shall we say. And there will be other people that absolutely love my presence and derive great joy from me being just connected with them for moments. And for those people, I celebrate their presence and their passing through my life, but I don't know what my soul is. I just am a soul, and no one can fill my place. This I can tell you for sure, and anybody else's place. And getting this door to open today was just so incredibly frustrating, because I kept hitting all the right buttons and it wouldn't let the camera open. It wouldn't let me talk. And I thought, stop it, for God's sake, like I can't take this. So there you go. This is the truth of my soul today, in whatever form it happens to be presented. And thank you. I'm grateful you're all here, and whatever that means to anybody that just listened to it. Hope it meant something. I don't know.
Well, thank you, Renee. Oh, and believe me, right now you look like you're really full of joy. So that was great. Great share. Let's see. Yeah, it's Barbara, it's like 12:32.
I know we're running out of time, although we did start a little later, but I just,
Okay.
yeah, this has been a great conversation, and I just wanted to finish it with a memory I had that hearing everybody talk brought back to me. Oh, I must have been maybe 5 or 6, and my uncle had just recently married his wife, my aunt, and then my aunt talked to everybody about how she was pregnant. She got pregnant, and I was so excited, and I was going somewhere with my dad, and I was asking him, so how did God know that Aunt Shirley and Uncle Buddy got married and then they could have a kid? I thought that was the order. You get married and then you have a kid. And I thought that it was like the kiss, when the bride and groom have that big kiss. I thought, was it the kiss that let God know that they were married and they could have a kid? And my dad's like, ask your mom, so he was very unhelpful. But I've puzzled over that for a while, and to me it's just like it was the beginning of the journey, of what we were talking about today. It was just kind of such a beautiful thought, I guess, for a little kid, and that start
Mhm.
of all of it.
Well,
So
kids are like that, though. They say the darndest things.
right.
So, thank you, everybody, for joining today, and hopefully we'll see you next week. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thanks. And Renee, I'm glad
Bye.
you're able to
Yeah, I'm
work
glad
Bye,
you made it,
everyone.
Renee. Yeah.
Bye-bye. Thanks,
Bye.
everybody.
See you soon.
Bye, Anka. Thanks.
Okay.
Good seeing you.